Alright everybody, welcome back to another video on the channel. So today we are going to continue reading the story that we started last week about the Gur Aryeh, the Baal Gur Aryeh, who we are assuming to be the Maharal of Prague, because I can't find anybody else who calls themselves the Gur Aryeh, unless you guys know. And they also say in the story, the author uses his name as Lev, which some people say his name was, but still not 100% sure exactly who it is. But the first part of the story was about how he became very close to the king, where he lived. Doesn't really say where he lived or what it was, and because he helped the king solve a very hard mishpat, very hard judgment that the king had to make when he was a little kid, and ever since then the king brought him close and loved him and everything like that. So the story was very long, so we're going to read part 2 today. I actually just read it before, so I'm just going to say it over without opening up the book, but if I need help I'll open up the book. So basically, the Gur Aryeh and the king were very good friends, and a few years passed and whatever, and one day all the king's advisors and priests and whatever, generals, higher up people, they all decided that they did not like the Jews anymore. Just like a lot of other Jewish stories, they decided one day, let's just get rid of the Jews. And so they asked the king, let's make this big gezerah and get rid of the Jews and just not destroy them, but kick them out of the land wherever they were living. So of course the king was not into that, because he liked the Jews, he liked the Gur Aryeh, he liked the Maharal, whoever the Gur Aryeh was. Again, sorry, I just have to say that. But he couldn't really say no to all of his guys. The whole cabinet, the whole government basically said, let's do it. So what is he going to say no? So he really didn't have a choice. And Al Karchach, by force, he signed on this document, and it was already stamped with the king's ring and everything like that. And he did not send it out yet. He just stamped it, and they all left, and they said, we're going to send it out tomorrow, whatever it was, fine. And of course the Gur Aryeh came to the castle that day, just say hello to the king, hang out with him, whatever they did, talking Torah, talking Kabbalah, talking learning, whatever it was. And the king looked very worried. So the Gur Aryeh says to the king, like, what's going on? Tell me what's happening. He's like, no, I can't tell you. He's like, no, you have to tell me. He's like, basically I just signed a paper that says that you guys are going to be, expelled from the country. And the Gur Aryeh was like crazy shocked and scared when he heard this. He's like, what? How could this be? What'd you do? He was crying in front of him, he was screaming in front of him. And he asked him, and he said, and the Gur Aryeh said to him, he's like, well, did you already give it out to the people to bring it out to the country, tell everybody, whatever? And he's like, I already stamped it with my ring, with the king's stamp, that, but I did not bring it out yet to the main people, and it's not sent out yet. Nobody knows about it except for the government and you. So he said, okay, so let's go rip it up. And he's like, I can't, it's in this special room, and also you're not allowed to because I already did it. The Gur Aryeh said, where is it? He's like, it's in this special room and I only have the key. He's like, and nobody else has the key, so nobody's able to rip it up. He's like, and the Gur Aryeh was just crying and screaming at him, like, what'd you do? How could you do this? It was a very intense situation. So the king saw that he was very distressed, and he said, let's go to the garden. Let's go to my special garden and let's take a little break. Let's take some air, everything like that. So they went to the garden. When they were walking in the garden, all of a sudden the king, great tiredness fell over the king. He got super sleepy, and he told the Gur Aryeh, he said, I'm going to take a little nap here in the middle of the garden. Wake me up, and just stand here and please don't go anywhere. Wait for me. And the Gur Aryeh said, sure, fine. So now the story kind of deviates, and it talks about the king, how the king was, the king that we're talking about, we're going to refer to him as the main king. So the main king was, captured many lands, and he had all these other smaller kings that he had captured. And the king received a letter from this general, one of his generals in the army. He said, there's one of the smaller kings that you captured is now making a rebellion against us, and he doesn't want to pay taxes. So the king said to the general, give him one warning, and if he doesn't, then go and take some men and go to war against him until he pays up, until he's, back under our control. And to make a long story short, he gave him a warning. He did not listen. He laughed. He said, "I'm not scared of anybody." And he fought, and they fought. And even though the main king had a better army, this little king, who we're going to refer to him as little king, beat him. So the general wrote a letter to the king, and he said, "We lost. What should I do?" And the king said, "Take more men. Take 10,000 men, and go fight this guy. Come on. How big could he be? How many? What's so special about him?" So he went, 10,000 men. He knocked 8,000 men down. This little king. So the general wrote another letter to the king. The king was extremely angry. He's like, "What's going on over here?" He's like, "Take 25,000 men." Same thing happened. They lost to this little king. Take 50,000 men. And every time this happened, the king was just getting angrier and angrier and angrier, until he said to take 100,000 men and go. And this little king, with his tactics and his small army, whatever it was, they were able to beat them. Until a different general came, took over from this other general, and he said to the king, he's like, "The only way to do this is to take every single man out of their house. Every single person has to go to war. Every single horse we have, every single weapon we have, every single wagon we have, every single thing, we need to bring it to beat this guy." And the king was so angry at the smaller king for causing all this stress. This is also over a period of time, many years, and killing so many of his men and everything. The king decided that he wanted to take him alive. So he was going into battle also. And they went with every single person in the country, like every single male or whatever. And he said, doesn't make a difference. It's a baby, a woman, a girl, a man, old man, whatever. We kill everybody. We're taking all the spoils and we're destroying their villages and we're going to burn down everything. We're going to kill everybody. And they went with a lot of force and all that. And what happened? They lost. This little king, again, was powerful and very strong. He was able to beat this, the king and everybody. And he actually captured the king. He actually captured the king. He captured the main king of our story and put him in jail, and took off his royalty clothing and put him on himself, and went to the castle that we were in before, and took over the whole kingdom and everything, and took everything. And our main king, the main king, who was friends with the Gur Aryeh, was sitting in this little prison, thirsty, he was starving, they were torturing him, whatever it was. He couldn't even look out the window. He's so sad, he's so depressed, so whatever, lost. He decided one day, he's like, "Let me look out the window." He looked out the window, and the Gur Aryeh is walking by. He's like, "What are you doing here?" And he was like, this only happened to you because of this decree that you did. He's like, "What are you talking about?" And he was like, "You remember this decree?" He's like, so the Gur Aryeh said to him, he's like, "What if I could get you out right now and bring you back to the palace, and you'll rip up the gezerah?" And he's like, "Yeah, 100%. So the Gur Aryeh said, "You know what? Quickly give me the key. I'm going to go to the palace." And the king gave him the key. He ran to the palace. He unlocked the doors. He went into the secret chamber, whatever it was, and he ripped up the gezerah. He brought the king back. He put him on his throne. And what do you think happened? It was just a dream. The king woke up. He was like, "Whoa, Gur Aryeh, what was that about?" And the Gur Aryeh was like, "Yeah, that was a crazy dream, right?" He's like, he's like, "That's what would probably happen to you if you had signed this thing." And basically the Gur Aryeh, and he said, "How long was that dream?" He's like, "The dream, all the battles and everything in that dream was 13 years long. 13 years. And he showed him on a watch. He's like, "You were just sleeping for 15 minutes. And the only thing that's real that happened in this dream, basically the Gur Aryeh was able to put this dream onto the king and kind of hypnotize him, I guess. And the only thing that he did was that he put the king to sleep so that he could take the key. He took the key. The king gave it to him willingly in the dream and in real life too. That was the only thing that happened. That was in real life. And he went inside and he ripped up the gezerah and he saved the Jews. And that's how the Gur Aryeh saved the Jews from this gezerah, and everything was fine. Let me just see if I missed anything of that story over there. I don't think we did. Right. So everything was just a dream. So that was pretty crazy. How the Gur Aryeh got to save everybody. That is the story for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll leave a link to the description for the first part of the video, for the first part of the story, so you can hear about the Gur Aryeh and the king then. And on Thursday, hopefully, we'll be back with some more videos on some stories, Parshas Noach, things like that. Anyway, everyone should have a great day and a great month and a great year. L'chaim.